If Republicans on this committee are serious about renaming the Gulf of Mexico, we should at least be honest about what is driving all this. My amendment proposes that rather than calling it the Gulf of America, we acknowledge what this bill truly represents, which is a departure from science, history, and common sense. We should call it the Gulf of Ignorance. Now, I acknowledge that there could be a robust debate about other words that one could put in place of ignorance, and I would accept friendly amendments from folks who might have a case to be made that it should be the Gulf of Incompetence, maybe the Gulf of Arrogance, Delusion, bootlicking sycophancy, strong case to be made that that would be appropriate, or maybe the Gulf of alienating our allies and neighbors. But the bottom line is, I agree with the majority of Americans who've been polled on this. The Gulf of Mexico doesn't need a different name. But if the majority wants to spend the committee's precious time and resources on symbolic gestures to glorify President Trump, then it's important that we also recognize all the burning priorities that you're choosing to ignore by wasting time on this. You know, we could be talking about ways to save lives by preventing catastrophic wildfires, or collecting and protecting climate and weather data to save communities from extreme storms, or restoring public access to National Park Service websites that Republicans are frantically trying to cancel because they talk about things like history and science and the environment. There is no shortage of things that people need us to do in this committee, that they want us to do, and you are choosing to play naming games. I have a hard time believing most people in the Gulf of Mexico who have endured devastating hurricanes and extreme weather events see this as a good use of Congress's time when we could be spending our time helping communities prepare for rising sea levels or the next natural disaster. In fact, an overwhelming number of Americans do not support renaming the Gulf. As I said, according to some credible polling, the Gulf is one of the most ecologically and economically vital regions in the Western Hemisphere, not just for the United States, but for a lot of other countries. It is home to productive fisheries, endangered species like the Rice's whale, unique deep-sea coral reefs and ecosystems. Its resources include resources that fuel industries, provide jobs, sustain coastal communities, and those real challenges, protecting ecosystems, building resilience, preparing for the future, deserve a seriousness. They deserve our serious attention, not political theater and a vanity project in order to please Donald Trump.